So today we are starting off the Delusional Merge month with a bang. And by a bang, I mean a very minimal article. I will be looking for more merge related stuff. I just want to have something to get us into the mood of the merge. And what a better article to read than Dimensions. Chris believes in the existence of parallel universes, otherwise known as dimensions, that coexist with our reality. In accordance to his usual egotistical and unreal beliefs and fantasies, this is a list of known dimensions that Chris believes in. Background: Chris has readily accepted the multiverse theory as an objective fact and uses it as a vehicle to justify his belief that cartoons are real. He was likely exposed to it for the first time in an episode of Family Guy Road to the Multiverse. No. That's why I like reading these articles, because I really think that he got it from Roger Rabbit. He's said it before, that Roger Rabbit is how he pictured it working, that there was a cartoon world where all the characters existed together. So I think this article is wrong with that. It is important to point out that the infamous second call between Chris and Alec, which took place on January 28th, 2010, occurred only 4 months after the original air date of this episode. I still think it's coincidence, meaning that the idea was still fresh in Chris's mind. In recent years, Chris has become much more vocal about his belief in multiple universes. He invoked the existence of an alternative reality when expressing his disapproval of President Trump. It's probably because of the whole people saying that there was an Earth 2 where Bernie won. I remember that being like a thing, and people said Earth 3 is where Hillary won. He confirmed his belief in alternate dimensions in the Doopy emails. He confidently asserted actual existence of Quickville in his interview with Count Dankula. He wanted to discuss the nature of other realities with a writer of Marvel Comics after learning about Earth 1218, which is our reality in the comics. And that is true. There are multiple dimensions in the Marvel Comics multiverse, and that one was designated for the main Earth, like our Earth. But they hardly ever had any characters actually from our Earth. And it's debatable if they actually meant our Earth or just an Earth really similar to ours. He did not back down even after said writer stated that it was all fiction. It is also notable to mention that Chris was so easily manipulated by the idea guy, in part because he had invoked the multiverse theory, which immediately garnered Chris's attention, which is how Jacob Sockness also got Chris's attention by mentioning that Jacoba was involved in the multiverse. So that might be the main way to get a hold of Chris nowadays. C197, and for those of you guys who know Rick and Morty, that's going to sound familiar. C197, and we have a quote here from Chris. C197 houses not only Quickville, but also ton of our fictional characters, our fictional individuals of The Simpsons, Captain America, Batman, Eric Cartman, Kim Possible, Meg Griffin, Optimus Prime, Papa Smurf, Inuyasha, Ash Ketchum, all of the Pokemon, Digimon, and so forth. Sunset Shimmer and Canterlot High Group. I don't know what the fuck that is. With the portal to Equestria there too. That makes no fucking sense how any of these characters could exist with each other, especially Inuyasha. Come on, Inuyasha is a demon slayer, and some of these creatures would definitely be seen as demons to him. The CPUs and the many others as well. You imagine it unless it exists in an alternate setting like where World War II never happened. Well, we can't confirm that World War II happened in any of these fucking universes, so that's a stupid thing to bring up randomly. C197 represents an expansion of Chris's imaginary land. It includes Quickville, Rule Quick, which is the stupid fucking made-up country that Darkbind is from, the rubble of the 4-cent garbage building that Chris destroyed with rock and roll, and characters and places from various fictional media franchises. Superheroes, Sonichu's, copyright infringement, anything is possible. No longer content with the city of Quickville, Chris spends his mid-30s fantasizing about an entire dimension of a cartoon characters and imaginary friends from fiction the world over. He hopes that one day the dimensional merge will unite the dimension with ours, which is what we are covering all this month. List of OCs, and we've already covered a lot of the OCs, and I'm going to be covering more OC stuff soon, so stay tuned for that. Chris occasionally churns out descriptions of various residents of C-197. Some might have originated with Chris, while others were planted into his head by the idea guys or their ilk. As heaven. Chris considers C-197 to be a version of heaven. That is not good. That is not good at all. When you start saying shit like that, you're gonna kill yourself to go to heaven. That's not good. No, this is not a happy ending. Chris is gonna drink that Kool-Aid soon. An afterlife populated by characters from his favorite media franchises, as well as the spirits of his deceased pets and father. That is not a good way of coping, no. In May 2019 tweet, replying to someone whose father had passed away, Chris attempted to comfort the woman by telling her, "I am really sorry to hear about your father. It really is a shock when someone passes on like that on the spot. Apparently, in cases like that, destiny and fate needed him, and he had plans that are out of reach or negotiation at the moment. But rest assured, your father's soul is serving a good and greater purpose where he is right now, likely C-197 helping out." That's so fucking mean. That is so fucking cruel to tell someone that. Like, I'm sure she'd rather hear about any fucking religion rather than your made-up fucking bullshit. Fortunately, Chris's account was private at the time, so she did not see his blasphemy. Okay, well that's good. At least Chris couldn't spread this shit. And we have some type of phone. What the fuck is this? A Commodore cell phone, only released in C-197. What the fuck? This is weird. Zapping it up. And it has a bunch of fucking data about it. This is so dumb. Why would Commodore ever make a phone? Let's see what this says. I want to read what it says. We're not reading the purple text because that's just a stupid fucking card game shit. After Scarlett's death in 1994, the Commodore Company continued onward into the other tech for the time in C-197 until when Chris Sonichu would be bestowed the powers and responsibilities. Commodore had put out some cell phones and have been successful in their sales. That is fucking dumb. I don't even know why that has to be part of his lore, but whatever. 1218. On Twitter, Chris asked Marvel writer Shanann McGuire, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, I am so sorry, which dimension number represents the Earth that we are currently occupying. This person responded that the Marvel Universe canonical answer is 1218. Chris took this literally, that we exist in a parallel dimension with other realities, a scientific possibility that is nonetheless otherwise untestable. Over the following months, Chris harmonized this concept with his own C-197. According to Chris, 1218 and C-197 are in the process of merging. Which in the Marvel Universe, Earth's merging was a concept, but it never ends well, and it usually results in a lot of chaos. That shit actually happened a couple years ago in the Marvel Universe, so that's not a foreign concept to Marvel. 1C211987, a mashup of the other two dimension names. This would be the combined dimension of the cartoon C-197 and our reality. So that's what he wants our Earth to be in the end. R687 represents the universe based on the fanfiction Sonichu versus S&T. Why do they have to exist in an alternate dimension, but everything else happens in your fantasy dimension? Written by this person known in Kiwi Farms as something random 987. This is brought up on the 9th of October, which is my birthday of this year. after Chris declares his disapproval of the series and his attempts to distance anything S&T related from his universe, because she's a Sue. You can't have two Sues existing in the same universe. It'll cause chaos. It's described as a home for the Batman who laughs at everything from the Joker and one great massive mess. So that's Chris trying to insult a fanfiction made to parody his characters. S642. S642 is the universe where the fighting game Skullgirls takes place in. Why did they get to be their own dimension? Well, I don't think Chris realizes that all the other things he's combining into his C197 had their own dimensions too. Like 616, which is the main Marvel universe. It was first mentioned in the his fucking card game, his brony card game card. Plotted device where a robot of the same name was created that housed the soul of Magichan of that dimension. X686 is the home of the Kiwi Farm user Cedric F's OC. Known residents are... I'm not reading any of those. This dimension's counterpart of Magichan and Kepler, a shape-shifting counterpart of Blake. C911. C911 is a dimension with a doppelganger of Magichan. That's the only thing notable from it. Lego Dimension. As the name suggests, the Lego Dimension is the home of the Lego version of Chris and his other OCs. Why can't they exist in C197? What the fuck, Chris? ZX49, also known as the MacBook Pro Dimension. Why does that get to be its own dimension? Is the home of the dimension of all the OCs created by Aqua Diamond 8. Why do they get to have their own dimension? The Fourth Wall. The fourth wall is a dimension? That's not how that works, Chris. You're fucking retarded. Chris believes that all of the above dimensions are separated by an iron curtain he refers to as the fourth wall, and that primary goal in life is to break through this barrier and live with his OCs, which I don't like that idea. I think he's going to possibly hurt himself in the near future to try to join in this fictional world. But yeah, that was the dimensions. Sorry if I was a little bit out of it today and wasn't paying too much attention or just seemed distracted. I'm a little bit tired today. But this is just the first video in a long line of merge-related videos. We're going to continue doing these all month long, so I hope you guys are ready. There's more Chris Chan insanity to come from this. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye. I can tell you guys are ready. Everybody's here. We got a decent amount of people in this chat. Today we are going to be reading the quickie article on the merge, and we are going to be reading the 2019 section only. So this will be a nice little catch-up before we start going to Chris's Twitter to read more about the merge. So hopefully you guys are ready. This is just beginning, and let's go. The merge in 2019. Naturally, New Year's Eve of 2019 was an eagerly awaited moment as the final chance for the cataclysm to occur. And I was so excited waiting for this because I've been telling everyone that this wouldn't happen, and when it didn't happen, it was fucking hilarious. In the early morning hours of January the 1st, 2019, Chris spoke out on Twitter in a New Year's address explaining that the merge had not happened on time due to the red tape, betraying some of the internal bureaucracy in the process of becoming a tranny goddess of the 80s computers. He retained his insistence that the event would still occur, and it's supposed to occur this year, and we're counting down to it again, adding reassurances that the Sonichu-verse was still awake to remind everyone of Magichan's doxing non-canon status. And this is a quote from Chris Chan. "Good New Year, everyone. I shall make my statement for now, and I want no backtalk or hateful commentary." I think I've read this before in an older video. The dimensional merge of C197 and R1218 is still in progress. There is more damn red tape to work through, but our goal is set. It is only delayed. Everyone of C197 is still much awake, We have secured air foray in a magic-proof cell a few days ago. Who the fuck is that? I have no idea who the fuck that person is. Is there an article on that person? I guess I'll have to look them up later. Not even that witch courier on Facebook can say otherwise. Who the fuck is that? You're dropping a lot of shit on me, Chris. I don't know who any of these people are. Because I know better. Only time Chris will ever say he knows better and mean it. And her words shall never get to or sway me any other way until it does, like it always does. I still remain the CPU Blueheart of the Commodore consoles, Quickville and Comma, and everyone is safe and well. But for now, I shall delay online talk for the Dimensional Merge through my social media until further notice. And I still remain very much married to Magic-chan, Sonichu, Krizzle, Rosachu, Savannah Rosachu, and Mewtwo. And there is room for at least one from this dimension, but there is no rush. So Chris is eager to get another person in on his weird marriage. If you want to marry Chris Chan and a bunch of fictional characters, go hit him up on Twitter. For now, Happy New Year's, everybody. Dismiss, and it shows lightning bolt, heart lightning bolt. The context behind Chris, aside from the air foray, R foray, I'm gonna be called a retard for not knowing how to say it anyway, so I don't fucking care, was revealed in the screen caps Lucas leaked to the Cow forum. In them, a person purporting to be R foray possessed Jessica Quinn's PMs. Chris over Facebook, saying that she had tricked him into believing in the merge. Let's take a look at this. I want to know what the fuck they're talking about. Ha ha ha. My task is complete. It's taken far longer than I had originally anticipated, but the pieces are finally falling into place, and the end of the road, all things in sight. Blueheart, you fool, false goddess, not even you could see what was transpiring right before your eyes as I wove my web of deception. Ooh, an edgy little fuck. Did you think I would vanish so abruptly? I don't even know who the fuck you are. When my previous plans to deceive your heart was ruined, I began to work on a new plan. For months I have been pulling the very fabric of your precious creation apart, manipulating several key figures, and how they danced like puppets for me. Weird smiley face. Your beloved Magi-chan was no exception, my dear. In fact, he was unknowingly my greatest asset. That's what everyone does, use Magi-chan. Didn't his behavior strike you at least bit odd in the last few months? And 20 years to catch up to 1218's timeline? I'm not sure who's the bigger fool here. He for listening to the thoughts I placed in his subconsciousness, or you for faithfully believing it all. Ha 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 ha. And let's continue reading this madness in the next screenshot. Let me fill you in on our devious little secret. The hibernation your beloved purple hedgehog was talking about was all a trick concocted by a brilliant mind, my brilliant mind. I have fooled all the inhabitants of our universe into believing this dimensional merge, and have spun the potent curse upon all those who lay down in their slumber. Oh, this is reference to what they said before, that people would have to sleep and then wake up into their other body. It was very weird, and last year I had mentioned that it was giving me a very Kool-Aid vibe. You drink the Kool-Aid and you wake up in your new immortal body shit. And so apparently this person's taking credit for that. As Magi-chan said himself, the communication between the worlds have been severed for 20 years. No help from the outside world, and I and Legion will be free to reshape. As Magi-chan said himself. Oh, why did you crop it like this? This is so stupid. Annihilation to all. The OC shall be sent to their graves by none other than Foray, Queen of Darkness. There is nothing you can do. With your connection severed and the precious OCs out of the picture, I have at last won. The slate shall be wiped clean. And the new order, what are you, fucking Star Wars? Come on. My order. What the fuck is this? Is this fucking Jacob Sockness talking? What type of retarded shit is this? This is so fucking cringe. Ah, God. The retard spreads with all of them. However, the attached post from Lucas suggests that Lucas had been posting as Quinn in an attempt to pass the blame onto her, which is what people do. They just trick Chris by doing stupid stunts like that. I'm not the one who started the merge thing. I just tricked my mom's sugar daddy into buying Chris's porn shit. Oh, this is from Lucas. Chris sent me texts from Jessica Quinn. I'm pretty sure she's the one. Despite Chris stating that he would abstain from talking about the merge until further notice, he went on to mention it in the following day because Chris can never stick to anything he says he's going to do, writing about the health problems, superpowers he got from it. On January the 4th, 2019, Chris said that he was awaiting further information on the merge, more indication that the entire merge had been scripted and fed to him by trolls who were no longer in the picture. Because some deity level red tape, it's delayed, but it will happen soon enough. But don't make a big deal about it until I have more information about it. So that is Chris being interviewed by Jackson Dalton. Particularly troubling about Chris's comment is that he wants more information in order to verify that his delusional thoughts are real. By admitting this, he highlighted a path for new trolls to get into his head. Jacob Sockness, the fucking Sarah and Steve people, the Chris Chan cult people. Exactly, that's what all of them did. Showing that he has failed to learn from the Idea Guy saga. Several eager weens rushed in to fill the gaps in Chris's knowledge. Though, by mid-June 2019, Chris had apparently become overwhelmed with these, and has since turned to other, more credible sources, mostly people saying they're possessed by Magichan. Continued hope in the merge. After the first deadline for the merge had passed, Chris remained more optimistic that the merge would still happen at some point. While he was initially quiet about it, he began ramping up the rants about the merge again around spring. On the 31st of March, he tweeted, "The dimensional merge is still happening and going on. C197 plus 1218 equals 1C21187. We learned about that in our last video. OCs are really becoming more obvious here. There are even sightings of a Dio blonde vampire in Egypt, and they just found a fucking mask. They just found that stupid fucking mask from JoJo, so I bet you Chris creamed in his pants. Descendants beware, Dio is coming after all of you. Chris, don't watch JoJo. That fandom doesn't want you either." Several merge-related tweets followed in April, fitting, because he is a fool, in which he claimed that people in Japan were seeing OCs and blaming the Notre Dame church fire. What the fuck, on a Pokemon? So Charmander just caused a terrorist incident, according to Chris. The events around this time to give context for Chris's renewed interest in the merge. Earlier, March 2019, after Chris was gifted a Nintendo Switch, he developed an obsession with playing the augmented reality game Pokemon Go. The game's premise revolves around using smartphones to see Pokemon characters in real-world settings, which coincides with Chris' beliefs about the merge. Even though that's virtual reality or augmented reality and we created it ourselves, but whatever. On the 2nd of April, Chris was sued for debt for the 4th time. How fitting. Further, confirming the link between the merge and its financial problems. He's probably losing it. On the 3rd of April, a new troll entered the stage with a future message for Crystal W. Chandler. And I still don't know what the fuck all that was about. Who presented himself to Chris as a messenger of the merge. Beginning in summer 2019, Chris would emphasize more on the merge is already nearly done and would soon be completed and finished. And that's what's supposed to be happening this month. It's supposed to definitely be done this month. So let's see if that happens this month. Like an obscure sect leader struggling to explain to his followers after the fact why the second coming had not come when he calculated it should. On the 13th of June 2019, Chris claimed that he had been counseling with Jesus Christ. Yes, Jesus himself. We covered this in the Chris Chan False God saga this year. And that Jesus had been helping with the dimensional merge, which would be finished in the near coming days, but without giving an actual set date. So he's being vague to make it sound like he could be right at any time when everyone knows he's not. Chris also mentioned that Jesus had been preaching this at all the churches and in Pokemon gyms, and yes, Jesus went to Pokemon gyms, accept it, and yet needed Chris to help out the world by posting this to his protected Twitter account. Naturally, after indulging in his fantasies on the matter, Chris begged for money, because that's all Chris does. As July 2019 began, Chris tried to demonstrate his divine abilities through psychic powers. July the 8th, he tried to assure his true and honest believers on Twitter that the merger's effects would be mild and temporary. What the fuck does that mean? And continue his long trend of attributing random events in the news as harbingers of the merge, which is really fucked up. He's taking actual tragedies and actual people's deaths and saying that that's the merge happening. And that's really fucking insulting for anyone who actually has to suffer to be used by this retard to try to preach his stupid religion. On the 10th of July, Chris, via Magichan Sock Puppet on Twitter, complained about the many uninspired trolls who have been trying to take advantage of the merge to exploit Chris. This has not prevented others, such as the multi-dimensional White Knights or Jacob Sockness, from attempting to weasel their way into Chris's inner circle, and they most have, like Jacob Sockness definitely has. To advance his belief in the merge, Chris has resorted in using Sock Puppet accounts on Twitter, and so has other people. Most prominently, Magichan11448, to broadcast events, whether he is using this as a transparent disguise to convince others that he genuinely thinks that he is channeling his cartoon character's thoughts and statements into microblogging platform. This is unclear. On the 14th of August 2019, Magichan would announce that he has allegedly arrived into the real world and would presently describe in a video the merge status. Yes, he would. The merge's future the merge's future course is subject to only Chris's whims and is not dependent upon Chris's deteriorating finances, his aged mother's declining health, or any other events in 1218. Originally supposed to be complete within a few months of its announcement, now nearly a complete year, and yet it continues to be pushed into the future, as nothing in Chris's world objectively changes, except the identities of his enabling rivals for his incompetence. Whether Chris will abandon his belief in the merge in the event of some external shock like Barb's death, which people have been hoping for on Twitter, and that's pretty fucked up, and its fallout, or retreat further into it, is something only time can tell. So that was all the updates for the merge this year. Some of these have been covered in events that I already talked about, like the Chris Chan False God saga, check that out, or the Chris Chan Twitter lockdown saga. But hopefully this gives you a little summary of what's been going on if you didn't keep up with all my other shit this year. And it should prepare you for when I start taking random Twitter threads and read them out in future videos. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Hopefully you guys like this delusional merge month, because I am excited to keep doing more of these. Bye, guys. Hey guys, today we are going to be doing another episode in this year's Dimensional Merge or Delusional Merge month. Today we are going to be reading about Chris Chan and the name he has given to his followers. Because this all started with Sarah and Steve, and I can't show their tweet because their account is on private again, but they had called Chris's followers the Quickens. So Chris has something to say about that. Let's read his opinion on what his followers should be called. Wow, I have heard of those who follow me and jot down as much Christory of me as possible, with the term Christorian for themselves. But a neutral term from my follower in this sense, in the dimension 1218, even I feel compelled to break the fourth wall again to ponder this. It's not the fourth wall. It's not the fourth wall. The only way it would be the fourth wall, Chris, is if you were fictional and you were talking to the real people on the other side. You are real, believe it or not. So you cannot break the fourth wall. That's not how the fourth wall works at all. And then Chris goes on to say, I mean, let's explore other details a bit, since we are going this far now. Just my input. Obviously, Jesus has a few differing follower sets, okay? But the top, it's not good to start this off by comparing yourself to Jesus. That just shows what level of insanity we're on. But the top being Christians, obviously derived from his last name. What? You think Jesus' last name is Christ? Are you... You haven't read you haven't read up on anything about your religion, your previous religion, because now you worship yourself. That is so fucking asinine. God. Buddha has Buddhist, but my deity typing is set on the level of console Patreon unit CPU, because it's from a shitty fucking Neptunia thing of the Commodore consoles, and then some. I might even be a goddess to the Sonichu and Rosachu species, even though you're not Sonichu or Rosachu. You say you're half Sonichu because your dad is half Sonichu, which makes no fucking sense at all. And you only got your powers because of the Ancient Prophecy, but I think that's been retconned now to where you gave your powers to yourself somehow. I'll have to do a video explaining that later. Out of all the Pokemon in existence, and I have a whole slew of abilities that are, while partially obvious here in 1218, or more so in C197. But let's focus more on the CPU aspect. It is not clear what the natural term for a CPU follower is from within their respective nations, at least beyond as well. Between Neptune, Noir, Blanc, I'll say Blanc, and Vert, it is rather similar, as everyone seems to call themselves followers of Neptune, Noir, Blanc, Vert, respectively. I concur that the followers of Christian Sonichu, or just Christian, is a mouthful, not as simplistic as Vert tried to offer the term vertigos for his followers, but that did not take. Bottom line is that all of my followers and worshippers do have a choice to call your group as you will. I think he means will, but as you well? Okay, whatever, Chris. Just quickens pronounced quickens, and practicing quickenism pronounces quickenism. That does not feel or sound fitting to me and feels off. So he says he doesn't like quicken. He doesn't like quicken, and he doesn't like quickenism. So I'm gonna start calling them quickens for now on, just for the hell of it, because I think Quicken is a very good name, and I think Chris is being way too mean to his followers. I think Chris needs to give them a break. These Quickens really love him. I do not mean to overstep my boundary. You always do. In this topic, I am just offering my input and feedback. Please don't. My guidance, should y'all accept it, is to look up and determine what a neutral term for a CPU follower in the hyperdimension Neptunia lore is. A step further on the term for the follower of a specific goddess / CPU, and go from there to determine a better idea for a better term. So Chris says, I know you guys want to call yourself Quickens, but I personally don't like the name, so we need to all gather up into a little hug box and come up with a better name. And the followers of my channel are called Gremlins. Learn the lore. That has been consistent for over a year. Better term for the followers of Christian Sonichu. I can even see the bad pun in the acronym FOCCS. Fox. Simply, we can do a lot better than even that. Even Faux Quicks. That's a terrible name. That's worse than Quicken. Quicken at least sounds decent. Doesn't sound appealing. Take your time on this. I humbly am very grateful for y'all's kindness. So he said I get to choose. I'm going with Quicken because I think Quicken is fucking hilarious. I'm gonna keep calling you guys Quickens. And we got this Christian emoji of him blowing a kiss, and this is his idealized version of himself. And the first comment says, don't label me because I like to watch a human dumpster fire. So that guy doesn't even want to be a part of this weird fucking thing that Christian is trying to gather up. And it's funny that these people, they follow Christian. They like Christian enough to follow him and worship him, quote unquote worship him, and he won't even let them choose their own name because he's like, that name's not good enough. You need to come up with a better one. This was a rather short video, but I just thought it was a funny scenario that Christian got himself into, to where he's shitting on his followers. Even though he basically has a cult, he still isn't happy and is still nitpicking everything. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. I'll be looking for more Christian tweets involving the merge, and we'll do a couple more videos this month talking about this subject. Bye guys. Hey guys, Dylan here. Now we are continuing the Dimensional Merge month. Now this video isn't too much of a merge related subject, but it is very relevant to the people who are actually involved in the merge and believe quote unquote in the merge. Now I'm gonna try my hardest to not talk about Sockness because I don't like Sockness and I don't think anyone should be giving him attention. but unfortunately he is involved in this, so I will have to mention him a little bit. But I won't be showing any of his confirmed tweets. I'll just be referencing a situation involving him. So just know I don't like talking about Sockness either. So sorry for the guys who have to listen to it. Attention everyone, I personally attest and confirm to these things against the farms and Knoll. I am well aware that not everyone on the farms is evil, but I still see genuine good amongst the remainder. Even a look in the Knoll's eyes reveals his demonic influence. And that is a link to Sockness's tweet that is now gone because he deleted his whole Twitter account, or at least that Twitter account. He deletes his Twitter accounts a lot. Even photographed, but at this point and juncture, I feel it is time that I step up and finally begin the process of taking down the Kiwi farms for good. How does he plan on doing this? I have no fucking clue. Everyone with genuine good in your hearts, I implore you all to leave the web forum for good. The time of its downfall in these set of events is upon us. I stand with good people in deity level light power to take down the evils Knoll has been trying to influence upon everyone. The lives of those taken by his influence shall not have been lost in vain. Knoll, troll us no more. So what Chris is referring to, and I've already done a video on this before, check out my Knoll video, is that articles were published blaming Knoll for people who killed themselves in relation to the Kiwi farm. So Chris labeled Knoll as a murderer because of that. That is what he's talking about there. That's all the context you need. Then, literally later, Chris said, "Listen, everyone, please. I am very well aware of Jacob and Maker. They both are good people with the same goal and concern for my own health." So what's happening here is that first Jacob was trying to convince Chris that Josh or Knoll was not a good person. Then people saw that and got scared, so they started telling Chris that Jacob was not a good person. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think Jacob is a good person, and I don't care what he does to Chris. Jacob's big plan is to get Chris to let him fuck him in the ass. If Chris is stupid enough to fall for it, then that's his thing. I'm not gonna tell Chris how to live his life because I'm not Chris's babysitter. I'm not gonna be the internet outlaw stopping all the retards from trolling Chris. That's a stupid endeavor, and I think anyone who embarks on this goal is themselves retarded. But yeah, I think that this whole Jacob thing is just fucking pathetic. But yeah, people turn against Jacob. So now it's Jacob versus the followers of Chris Chan. They both are good people with the same goal and concern for my own health and well-being. Jacob is his own individual, but he is presently still easily manipulated by Jacoba. Jacoba is a made-up being that Jacob said could possess him. He's like some type of demon thing. So every time Jacob did something fucked up, he would say Jacoba made him do it. It's the easiest cop-out you could think of, and Chris fell for it. Magichan and I have been working hard to remedy that. We know everything about all of this, and we have plans to counter defense and measures should anything bad happen. But know this, I, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu CPU Blueheart, am not being manipulated by anyone. I remain grateful and most appreciative of everyone's continued concerns, kindness, and support. But we all need to stop fighting each other, especially in defending our Earth due time. So what happened is that Jacob ended up turning on all the followers of Chris Chan and wanted Chris to himself. So he made this long-ass document of people he wanted Chris to ban. And a lot of these people are people who are actually followers of Chris, like the divine followers, the ones that worship Chris. So they saw that as an attack, and they all started turning on Jacob. And Jacob basically got nuked into oblivion by these people. He had a lot of people on this list trying to scare them away from Chris Chan, and the followers of Chris did not like that. Listen, everyone, I am not gonna break up any of my friendships and allyships with anyone, because that is what the real demons and haters want. So, Jacob is the one who told Chris to not be friends with people and block them and get them away from him. So, in that logic, he would consider Jacob to be a troll and a demon and a hater, but whatever. To weaken us, so they can't be overpowered. but we will not let them weaken us. We shall remain strong and working together. Even in some of us don't get along with each other, I can agree to disagree on some things. But what I and all of you agree on is our mutual individual health and well-being. That's a lot of nice things, but it doesn't really mean anything. And defending the Earth from the likes of ÄÄ and Jacoba. Also, just a note, Sarah and Steve are good people too. Sarah and Steve were siding with Jacob at the time. Just doing what they feel is right for the greater good. We all will end up working together to make ourselves and everyone C-197 together. Please stop talking bad about them and stop talking bad about anyone. So, the followers of Chris Chan were having an autistic civil war with Gibby in the middle of all of it. And if you want to be caught up on all of this insanity, go check out Gibby. Gibby did like multiple videos about this shit. I refuse to spend like 8 hours talking about Jacob's sockness, so if you want to be caught up on all the sockness insanity, go over to Gibby's channel. He talked about him a lot, and he actually got involved in this stupid shit. But continuing onward, Chris then makes another notice to everyone. To everyone, good morning. I have just read, that's Jacob's at the time, most recent tweets, and he texted me earlier. I have a few things to say and tell y'all in response. Mainly, I do love and care for Jacob, but I am unable to be close to him because of the likely reckoning that would happen upon the dimensions 1218 and C-197 and all local in this timeline. Should he and I get too close in our relationship, it does sadden me to realize that all this, but I must be strong. And Jacob is very fragile individual. Regardless, and despite his past actions and many conflicting statements when he was and when he wasn't possessed by anyone, especially by Jacoba, I wish for everyone on this earth to stop being mean to Jacob, period. Please. And this, of course, means no more hatred upon him. I put my foot down. I am your future vessel, Kinsuna, not Jacob. Even though you and I cannot ultimately be sweethearts in the end. If only I could tell you what we have foreseen of you. I still have the soul portion. What is that? I still have the soul portion watching over you and being your guardian angel. Believe in me. You can't be an angel and a god, Chris. That makes no fucking sense. The merge details fall mainly upon me and the magic wielders of this dimension of this earth. We cannot allow Jacoba or Rakat Empire to ever take over this planet. That shit Jacob made up. And with us OCs and ROCs of C-197 together, we will keep this planet safe and defend when the big battle is upon us. This is sounding just like the idea guy shit, how he thought he had to defend Quickville and our Earth from Nazis. And Valentino know what I mean and what I'm talking about, along with the other select others, including the local CPUs here. But in reiteration, I am not and cannot be Jacob's sweetheart. So he's telling people he's not Jacob's butt buddy. I still care about him very much. I put my foot down on any future instances of hatred and bullying upon him. Stop bullying Jacob, please. That is all. So that's Chris Chan saying that he doesn't want to be Jacob's butt buddy, but he doesn't want people picking on him. And then finally, this account named Goddess Emmanuel tweeted at Chris trying to smear Gibby. And because this account only talks about Jacob, I'm assuming this is Jacob. No one even has to tell me that this is Jacob's ult. I'm just going to assume it's Jacob's ult. It seems really obvious, because Jacob has been known to use ults. It's true. Gibby was the real evil force behind the idea, guys, and was working with Noel. Gibby is a fucking retard, but Gibby is not a troll. Gibby is not a threat. Gibby is not a toxic individual. So this screenshot of Gibby saying, "Don't worry, no, I won't let the merge proceed," it's bullshit. It's photoshopped. I don't even have to tell you that Gibby didn't make this. He didn't make it. I am very well aware of Gibby's vicious intentions and his manipulative abilities. Yes, Gibby the manipulator. My decision was not affected by any of his recent videos concerning Jacob, and I had not heard the interview at all before when I made my decision. I am very well aware of the big battle and Jacob's fate in the working with us. For the time being, his usefulness was temporarily expended. So he's saying Jacob is no longer useful to him. What a very manipulator thing to say. Considering these present circumstances, Magichan and the others have verified this. We have our plans, and we continue to work hard to see them through. My emotions remain true, and I am with great mental fortitude and rainbow aura. The merge is not delayed and shall not fail, even with Devin's bullshit. We are immune to his influences. His fate is to be determined. So yeah, that's all the shit with the Chris Chan civil war between his followers. His followers' great battle against Jacob. It seems like Jacob ended up throwing a fit and deleting his Twitter account, but he'll be back. I think that one account a second ago was his account. So my advice to everybody is, don't interact with Jacob. If you see Gibby on Twitter fucking slap fighting with Jacob, just leave it alone. So yeah, this was the Dimensional Merge video for today. Kinda disappointed with this video because I had to talk about Jacob's sockness, my favorite person on earth. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye. Hey guys, Dylan here. Now, today we are going to be doing a stream talking about some of the interactions Chris Chan has had with ÄTH. Now, to give you a little bit of context on who ÄTH is, a year ago, she did a video where she redesigned Sonichu and Rosachu. And Chris Chan actually really liked these redesigns. Let's fast forward to the point where she shows them both off. These are her redesigns of Sonichu and Rosachu. And the designs really aren't too different than what Chris had originally. They're still both obviously the Pokemon they're supposed to be, just with a slightly updated look. Well, Chris really liked these designs, and this is his opinion on the design. I couldn't find the tweet itself or wherever this came from, so I am reading this from the Quickie. Just watched this video. I appreciated and liked her redesign. She did really well for her own Sonichu and Rosachu interpretations. I ended up linking with Sonichu in our sister dimension. He was a typical Sony in his group of Sonies, Sonichus, Rosachus, and Rosies. He was surprised to find that he had evolved, which was simultaneous with ÄTH drawing that redesign at the start, that he ended up visually different from the other Sonichus, and at the same time said for Rosie in the other dimension area a few miles away that became Rosachus she designed. She was surprised as well, being different from the other Rosachus, and yes, there are other Rosachus and Sonichus. By the way, in the wild, Sonichus do get their typical pair of shoes and socks and gloves, information only Chris thought you would care about, when they evolve. So, the Sonichu was thrown off with the boots, but the blue gloves and upturned quills, the quills on all the Sonichu and Rosachus are resistant to static electricity, are not likely to become upturned to look similar to Supersonic or the Super Sonichu Mega Evolution forms. Oh, so he had already decided on that being a Mega Evolution form at this point. I already did a video on that too. Same with Rosachus. No, that Supersonic plush modification look goes to Sturbanchu? Who the fuck is Sturbanchu? I don't know who the fuck that is. Anyway, on Rosachu in the wild, when they evolve, they get their typical dress and boots. No one cares. But the ones at wild typically prefer to be nude. Okay, so apparently they want to be nude running around. Okay. Leaving the boots on for the latter. So their attire is customizable of the trainer who catches one. That would be terrifying to see these furries running around naked and you have to catch them. That'd be fucking weird. This one Rosachu evolved and got years. Okay, so what Chris is saying, just so you know, that he's saying that her redesigns of the characters aren't actually the characters. That they are different Sonichu and Rosachus. And this is similar to what he did with what he did with Asperchew. He's like, I acknowledge that you did this, and this is your own interpretation, but here's why you're wrong, and there are different characters who just so happen to look like my characters. Now, S&T did a follow-up video, December 6th, where she redesigns all of the chaotic combo. And I'll show you the finalized versions of them. Does she show them all on screen? Yes, she does. And she ended up basing them off of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, she stands over them. What a terrible thing to do. She's over designs. Oh well, it's not needed. I'll show them on Twitter. She redesigned all of these characters on Twitter. This is her Angelica. This is her Magichan. This is her Punchy. This is her Wild and Bubbles. And she spent a lot of time redesigning these characters. Well, Chris gave the reaction you expect Chris to give. I only wish I could like this, but I'm really unable to. And this is where shit got crazy. This is where the spurg out that you expect Chris to have happens. Chris tweets out, pain, ... pain. And then someone asks, are you okay? Did something happen? Don't give Chris attention. Don't, wait, what? Is that Cedric? Cedric, why? Why? I know that guy, sadly. Feel well, I not. Oh yeah, this is when Chris had the Yoda virus. Gibby came up with that name, and I'm taking it, because it's fucking hilarious. I think someone in the comment section came up with that name, but I love it. Chris caught the Yoda virus recently, and he's unable to talk right. So this is why he is speaking like this. Feel well, I do not. Rest I need. Head hurts. Hurts head. UTI acting up. P waiting to. No, feeling not I well am. Yes, recover. I will be will. Fuck, my brain is fucking with this. Recover, I will. Fuck, I did it again. Recover, I be will. I hate talking backwards, because my brain automatically reorganizes it. This is the fucking struggle of having dyslexia. I fucking hate it. Super stressed, ears, Pachirichu round, face got to me, email received, Project S&T, vent with. Expected Courtney did, then better. That I napkin. I'm sorry, I tried to read it. I suck at it. I can't do the fucking reverse talk of his Yoda speak. And then fucking Cedric says, you look sorta like Sockness, lol. I don't know why he responded with that. And then someone says, I hope you feel less pain. And he said, thank you. I am recovering, still feeling off. At least I'm not jumbling my words. So that's him after he got over the Yoda virus. Night last troubling, still me. Up shook, I not am, only still. Virus possible, rest. Need I, bed in I am. Everyone, else to everyone. Want laugh all you. This serious is very. Night last, I told last while long will stress this. r/I had stroke. Best response to Chris's rambling, pain. So after that stupid shit, because these tweets are deleted or I couldn't find them, I'll have to read this. This is from the quickie yet again. It's more of the shit involving S&T. Like this eye, ears me killed, Pachiritsu round face. Job good drawing, unusual as. Expected trigger, I not did. Check did email, your I pray you have. Safe good and have they are. And then a few hours later, he tweeted this, and this will be the last thing I think I have to do. Yeah, this is the last one I have to read. This is the only other tweet I couldn't find. This video triggered me bad. Nothing to do with the comments or opinions of the others, or her drawing style, but yeah, a lot of choices on the redesigns triggered me bad. So Chris saying that he didn't like the redesigns at all, now since he's finally speaking English again, and I don't have to fuck up his Yoda speak. And then Chris tweets out this, I love this, and this is response to someone's Rosachu design for S&T, which is Project S&T's fan character. He said, I love this, although I was expecting Project S&T to personally design an S&T Sonichu or Rosachu, but this is quite good. I pray that she will discover this piece and retweet it soon. So Chris wants S&T to do her own S&T Chu. This is what their S&T Chu looked like. He wants Courtney to get involved in this shit because he's obsessing over Courtney now. And he says, off topic, the cold I got from the virus taking advantage of the trigger is affecting my voice. I wish I could hear his voice. I hope he sounds like Yoda. And then someone tells Chris, I hope you get better quickly. Maybe I'm too neurotypical to appreciate your vulnerability to Courtney's lovely redesigns, but I find it so peculiar. Of all the people who watched that video, the only person I am aware who got triggered was you. And Chris said, well, I did get epic triggered from Courtney's redesign choices on 4 out of 5 of them. They actually are more over separate individuals in the redesign. So what he's trying to do is, yet again, like he did last year, where he says that the characters she redesigned are not his characters. They are separate characters that live in Quickville that happen to look like that. And this is Chris's way of rejecting people's artistic liberties when they redesign his characters. It happened with Asperchu, and it happened here. He does not accept it, which does throw me off. The only exception is the Punchy Sonichu redesign, the worst culprit being the Wild Sonichu redesign. He needs his leaf for better gliding and flight than Large Tail ever could, so he's bitching about how she redesigned the tail. And Sonichu's ears are typically long, yet regardless of this, apparently there is something deeper than that just sets off my subconscious worse than anything. That moment at Too Many Games where I went hedgehog... Wait, what? Where I went hedgehog. What the fuck does that mean? Worse than that, this resonated a reminder of my subconscious that was like hell to me, and I still racking my brain around this, trying to figure out why myself. Neck down, the image is not offensive to me at all. Neck up, triggered. So he doesn't like the redesign of the face for some reason. Like, the face is what pisses him off. He doesn't like that she changed what type of Pokemon he was. And, someone says, hold up, aren't you a goddess? How come you're vulnerable to something as weak as a common cold? Use your powers to fix it already. And he replies with, I'm still learning my better magics and powers. I have been able to stave off the viral infection for months. The virus snuck in. That's not how that works. While I was hyper stressed from being extensively triggered by Project S&T's redesign video. So it fucked him up that much that he got sick from it. Okay. Her redesigns upset him so much it gave him a cold. And he says, hey y'all, update on this cold. It's giving me nasal problems now, and it still lingers in my throat. It does not feel as bad as earlier. Also, I have found the reasoning behind the triggering of Project S&T's redesign of the Chaotic Combo. There was a disturbance in their dungeon and dragons, like home dimension of CS89, that's the dimension he gives them now, CS89, which is literally the main home of the Plutia, I'll say that, and Pishi and CPU leadership over... who fucking cares? Anyway, there has been a number of migrations of individuals and items from CS89 to C197, his dimension, fated or forced. Even entire dungeon cave areas were being relocated via high magic from there. So Chris is taking shit from this dimension and adding it to his dimension because he thinks it's cool. I'm projected there as a cleric working and analyzing. So Chris, just like when he became the Red Spy, now he's a cleric in the other dimension because Chris always has to get mixed up in everything. Finding solutions before something really bad could happen to CS89. This seems to be the right path, as I am finding less visual offense with Magichan Solana differences not triggering. Go figure, a subconscious trigger event being called from another dimension. And he says, anywho, I'm about to get some food for this body, check back later. And then he says, by the way, at Project S&T, I found out what it was about your wild Sonrisu's face and tail that was really bugging me. Turns out he reminded me of Rocat Grunts. Apparently CS89 was getting its magical item stolen. We managed to resolve the problem, and I can look at Sonrisu without even flinching anymore. So he's trying to come up with some retconned explanation to why he didn't like him. And apparently it's because he looked like some type of thing. He looked like some type of grunt, some evil thing in the other dimension. That's what he's trying to retcon it as. Here it is. Okay, this was his original reasoning. Okay, so this is the original reason why he didn't like the character design. This is why he said the design triggered him originally. So he retconned it to be that it looked like some type of evil grunt, when originally he said, I can't even bear to look at it directly. It's freaking bothering me worse than hell. The only theory I can gather is that it reminds me of someone really awful intentions or design, but at the moment, it just badly reminds me of Dave the Intern and Justin Bieber. So that was his original reasonings to why he didn't like the character, because it looked like two Sonic Boom characters. That was his reasoning, and then he changed it to that it looked like some type of grunt. So he made this stupid retcon that it looked like some evil grunt for no apparent reason. I don't know why he did that. But Chris being Chris, he instantly, after all this and he got so much backlash, apologized, saying, I want to publicly announce that I am really sorry for how I reacted to S&T's redesign. They are very good, and so is her video. And then he tweets out, Hello Kitty, I am sorry, and it's crying. And then he ends all of this off with, I love this, D&D team fully approved, S&T, although if you're still upset at me, I can understand and empathize. I still apologize for my initial outburst. Please respond and let me know how you are feeling. So he wants S&T to respond to him now, and I think he's going to stalk S&T, just like he did with Doopy Do-Over. I think he's really obsessing with S&T, and he couldn't even edit out the white bits right there. So lazy. He sells these cards too, and he can't edit out the white bits. But yeah, he wants to get into S&T now, and he responded to her calendar thing right here, her art, and then he said you could make a calendar for your art for the next year. So he wants her to make a calendar. I wouldn't be shocked if this is leading into the Chris stalking S&T arc, just like how the Chris stalking Doopy Do-Over arc happened. And so yeah, that was all of the information about the Sonichu reboot and how Chris reacted to it. The fact that someone actually tried to take his piece of garbage and make it into something creative and try to put their own twist on it, it offended him. And Chris acted the way you expect Chris to act. I'm almost out of merge videos to do, so if Chris doesn't flip out and start preaching about the merge again, I think we have at least 2 more videos left to do this month. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share, and if you want to see more, then subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye. Hi guys, Dylan here. Now, yesterday I was pretty terrified. When I checked my DMs, I saw that Chris Chan had messaged me. And at first I thought this was a troll trying to fuck with me, maybe a Jacob Sockness or somebody. But no, it was the real Chris Chan. So I'm going to read this message that Chris sent to me. Season's greetings to you, and a Merry Christmas to you too, Chris Chan. Dylan, yep, I've watched a few of your videos. I already know you did because you commented on my video as Magic-chan before. I get you're reading what I wrote and commenting, but I can clearly tell you do not totally grasp the full situation. In the case of the video recently uploaded by Project S&T's redesigns, that was not a retcon on my change of heart. So what he's saying is that he did not retcon himself when he said that he didn't like Sonrisu because Sonrisu looked like some grunt, when before he had said that Sonrisu looked like 2 characters from Sonic Boom. He completely changed his mind to be an in-world reason rather than a I don't like Sonic Boom reason. If you want to know more about that, check out my last video. I literally have the links to the other dimensions and all. And when I first saw Sonrisu's face, something was literally going on in the D&D dimension of CS89, and I had not figured out that yet. It took me time. You're not changing my mind on this. I'm still sticking with you. You retconned it to sound more like an in-world reason and less of an I don't like Sonic Boom reason. And outside to find the clues, but I did. Jacoba and Rocat, they're two characters involved with Jacob Sockness's whole shit, have gone to and stolen a number of rare relics and items, and they were hitting up CS89, and my reaction to Sonrisu's face was a cry for help. I had literally entered the dimension personally and leveled up quick as a cleric. S&T, and that explains the art that we saw last time where Chris was dressed up as a D&D character. He's saying that he went to that dimension and got new powers to help them out. S&T herself was transported there as well to help with the situation. S&T is just as much as a Mary Sue as Chris, and I'm not talking about Courtney, I'm talking about the character. So there's no way these two could exist in the same plane without chaos. She and I took out the Rocat operation that was going on there and saved a falling apart CS89. It is presently only in fair shape that dimension. When I realized that was the problem, I was able to see Sonrisu more easily without being triggered. I'm not buying it, Chris. I'm not buying it. You didn't like the design. People gave you shit and then you changed your mind. It's okay to get triggered. It's okay to not like something. What's not okay is when you lie and make up new reasons to why you didn't like something. It's not a freaking retcon. Do you know what a retcon is, Chris? Whatever, I'm not gonna explain shit to him at all. This was literally going on at the time. No, you changed why you didn't like the character to be more favorable. I stand by what I said. Go ahead and read what I send you today on your channel. I have, and I am. I know you have a hard time believing me, because you're nuts, Chris. I don't believe in the merge. Because you do not feel, see, know, or comprehend the situations fully or at all. Yes, Chris, I live in the real world. The real world where we don't live with cartoon hedgehogs. Sadly, I cannot relate to you. You are so typical of the normal neurological, so I'm neurotypical. That's what he's saying. I'm a normie to him. I don't have autism, so he's looking down on me. Of this dimension, you do not see or feel as I and every other super neuro-powerful individual of this world can and do. There's a lot of autistic people that don't see your shit, Chris, and don't agree with you, so don't loop them into your insanity. Lightning heart lightning, which that's usually at the end, but he put it here before the end. If only you could see, feel, and go through something similar or equal to what I have been for at least one day, then you might fully understand. Open your closed mind. No, Christian, not happening. I don't believe your shit. And unlike Noel, I'm not gonna humor it. Unlike Gibby, I'm not gonna psychologically study it. Unlike every other person, I'm not even going to humor it. I'm just going to talk about it, call you crazy, and be done with it. This is Delusional Merge December for a reason. This merge shit is stupid. Everyone knows it's stupid. Everyone knows it's not gonna happen. This is the second year of the Delusional Merge, and I can't wait to do a third year because you just can't figure out that this is not reality. And to show you guys that this is Chris, I'm going to click on his account and show you that it's him. This is the Chris. This was actually him that messaged me. So yeah, that was my little reply to Chris. Chris wanted to talk to me about the other dimension, wanted to talk to me about the S&T stuff, and wanted to try to convert me to being a believer of the merge. So my end thoughts are, I don't believe in the merge, I'm never going to believe in the merge, and I don't believe your excuse for why you didn't like the design. You changed your mind on why you liked it, that's fine. Just don't try to do all this crazy shit to try to explain why you were never triggered, or that your triggering before had nothing to do with you not liking the design at first. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked this video. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. If you want to see more, then subscribe. I know it was a really short video today, but that's because there wasn't a lot to read. So if you guys like this type of stuff, stay tuned. We got a couple more Delusional Merge videos coming out this month. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone watching, and bye.